This video was brought to you by Markus Bil, Elbilmek, ABRP, Steurenberg, Kempower and Bilkomponenter. Yo, what's up? You guys know that driving electric is far cheaper than fossil cars, right? But did you know that you can get paid for charging? Well, that is possible with Tibber Grid Rewards. I talked about this before, but now this is a follow-up video after over 3.5 months of experience. I can tell you how you can make the most money out of Grid Reward, and I can show you how much I have saved or technically made on Grid Reward. You can actually get paid for charging. It sounds like a scam, it sounds too good to be true, but I'm not here to scam you. I'm not making any money on this. This is not sponsored video. So first I'll show you that we have the bill here for July, and you see I spent 3,442 kilowatt hour. The prices here, this is krone, Norwegian krone, so it's roughly 1/10 of a euro, just quickly, quick math. And you see that Tibber, they take a little profit, whatever, but the grid reward for July was 864 NOK. That's roughly 80 euros. It's quite insane, and you see that I only had to pay 202 kroner, so roughly 20 euros in electricity price to at least to Tibber, but then there's also another bill to the grid company. But this is insane that I get so low price for heating up and spending energy on a big villa that is 285 square meter with a pool also. And so, okay, first of all, for you guys who don't know what the heck this is all about, well, Grid Reward is based on what is called frequency balancing, but that's how Tibber do it. I think they do also use some other techniques, but quickly said, the frequency in the grid in Europe, right, wants to be at 50 hertz. And if the frequency drops or goes too high, then that could cause some devices that you connect to your house or whatever to not function properly. So you want to have the frequency around 50 hertz, and to do that you can do some frequency balancing, which is to actually put load or maybe put energy into the grid or put power into the grid to balance it. So that's what Tibber is doing. They're doing grid balancing, and they can do that by starting and stopping charging. So I think the way it works is that when the frequency goes too high, they can then put load on the grid, lots of thousands of chargers, and by putting load on the grid, they will then lower the frequency, and then Tibber gets paid for this, and they also share the revenue with you, and that's how you actually make money on charging. It sounds crazy, but it is actually true. Normally there's a spot price that follows maybe the market price or whatever, the Nord Pool, but during the Grid Reward you don't pay that spot price. You pay a special price that Tibber gives you, and I've seen it as low as minus 118 øre. But also the price you see here in this example here, that is not including the grid fee and also not the taxes, but still I can come back to that. In most cases you still make money. But what I found out so far is that the Grid Reward lasts for 10 to 30 minutes mostly. There are some rare cases that last a bit longer, but most of the time it's roughly that long. And then, okay, many people also, I've heard a couple of people who are concerned that, yeah, but if you start and stop charging so often, is that going to hurt the battery? My claim is no. This is based on that when you're driving and you regen, that is also charging the battery. And you only charge the battery for a couple of seconds to maybe, I don't know, 10-20 second burst only. And that could happen. You can start and stop charging several times per minute because of regen. And then this Grid Reward thing here, just also start and stop, but it's in a longer segment. But my claim is that it does not hurt to charge that often. And then, okay, but what I found out is that the higher the power you have, the better it is, the more money you make. Because, like the example again, you have a negative price. And it's not like you get a higher negative price if you have lower power. So you just have that regular negative price, which seems to be more or less random. And that means that the faster you can charge during that 10 to 30 minutes, the more money you can make. And also, if you have several charging stations at home, which I just happen to have, then it also helps. The total power of all those combined is what makes the most money. So that means that if you have 2 times 10 kilowatt, it's the same as having 1 times 22 kilowatt, given that you have a car that can take 22 kilowatt, because that also matters. You need to have enough energy available in those cars to be able to take the energy once it's needed. And also when you look at the grid reward thing, the turquoise there means that it's charging and then you're making money. And the orange means that the charging is paused. There's also a case where, yeah, you want to pause the charging to also help the grid. And then what I found out, I think, is that rainy days usually gives you more grid rewards than sunny days. This could have something to do with Norway, that we have renewable energy. We have lots of hydropower. So during rainy days, there's more surge energy going on, and then grid reward triggers more often. Well, also another weird thing I found is that when I borrowed the ID7, is that once the grid reward is active, if you stop charging for some reason, it will go away. And if you start charging again during that period, you will not re-enable grid reward. This happened with the ID7 because when I approached the ID7, it would automatically unlock the car. But unlocking the car also triggers it to stop charging. So like, oh no, don't do that. Tesla did that in 2013, but they fixed it roughly in 2014-ish. Yeah, it's weird that you want to stop charging on AC when you unlock the car. You should instead actively press on the key fob to stop charging on AC. But okay, and also what I found out is that during this summer I had lots of grid reward, but it seems like it's more random, and it could be because many people were on vacation, so not that many people were plugged in. And at least during summer, I would get grid reward on all 3 easy boxes. Yeah, I have 11 kilowatt on each easy box, and I had 3 of them. So I would trigger all 3 of them simultaneously quite often. But now during August, late August, when we have more cars plugged in, people are back from vacation, it seems like it's more random, and then I often only get 1 or 2 of them enabling. And then so it's not like every time. It seems like it's not based on your power line into the house. You know, that's not how they select it. It seems like they just select randomly among the available EC or Subtech or whatever that supports grid reward. And the negative price that you get is different on each EC box you get. So I noticed that sometimes I might actually get a higher price on the 2 kilowatt versus the 10 kilowatt. And they're always different, each of them. It's not like the one grid reward for the whole house is always the same price. It's not like that. But also it seems like the higher the power, you don't get a better reward from it. You don't get a higher negative price as long as you have higher power. So many times I gotten also a higher price on the 2 kilowatt versus the 11 kilowatt. And then once it is active, for example, if one EC box is active on grid reward, I have one car plugged in, I cannot simply plug in another car in another EC box and get grid reward. It only happens like the system decides when it wants the grid reward, and then once you plug in after it starts, then it's too late. Then you have to just keep plugged in and wait until you get randomly picked. And also this means that the grid reward also works in plug-in hybrid. It actually works with pretty much anything. I can show you. I even made it work with a resistive heater in the garage. So in the garage I have a little bit complicated setup. See, I use this Metron cable that creates a red plug, and then I take the red plug into the wall E. This is from Finland, but this creates a 25 amp single phase output there, and also a Schuko, and then the Schuko here goes over to the EcoFlow, and then I just charge it. So if grid reward triggers, it will charge the EcoFlow, 2 EcoFlow, they are 2 kilowatt hour each. This is at 18% now, the slave battery. The master battery is 38%. And then the Schuko output here is then connected to a dehumidifier and then a fan. And I'm just using this to get the humidity low. But you see, this is electricity I would use anyway, but I just found something to spend the electricity on. Sometimes I also burn it off with this resistive heater. It's 1.5 kilowatt only. I get a 2 kilowatt heater. But it is a bit complicated in my case, but here I can I can then charge the EcoFlow simultaneously as I also charge a car on roughly 5 kilowatt on single phase. But for you guys, what would be more interesting or simpler, because you don't have that equipment, is you would get this adapter, the Metron adapter. And you see it's type 2, you plug it in here, and zook, there are some buttons here. This is for initiating handshake. And then you then energize this plug. And then you can take out actually up to 16 amp, but I will recommend maybe just 10 amp from it. And then you could hook up this Schuko to the resistive heater, for example. If you want to burn off something, I don't know, it's up to you what you want to use this for. For you guys who don't know, this summer I offer this airport shuttle service. I kind of tried to tone down on it now because it was taking a little bit too much time, and it was binding up my time, or that day or that time of the day that I had to be standby. And that, became a little bit cumbersome if I had other plans. But okay, anyway, it was a very nice experience that I had so many cars here and they could charge, and most of them had 11 kilowatt onboard charger. And that's how I managed to farm so much grid reward. But I would only make roughly 20 to 50 NOK on each car every time they came here. And then when so it's not like that much money, but because I had so many cars in here, yes, I made some money out of it. But the trick here is that you have to go in Tibber, and then you have to not set any departure time. So you have to go for every day and just say no departure time. Well, unless you want to have a departure time, then you can just set it manually. But what I normally do instead of that is that I just say start charging now in Tibber, and then it will just charge one time. And then next time when I unplug and plug it in again, smart charging is re-enabled. But if you set a departure time just one time, then you have to remember to remove it again. But if you have a large battery, long range car, low consumption or something, you could just camp it, or you can set the charge limit to 90%. Most likely you won't hit 90%, so don't worry about that. But then you will just, if you have lots of grid reward in one day, you will just charge up maybe towards 90%. And then when you drive it down, other days when you have less grid reward, then you might only hit 60% or whatever. But you could just pay attention, and if it goes too low, like towards 10%, 20%, then you can just manually charge it up again until a level where you feel comfortable with. But the biggest advantage is if you have fast charging at home, fast AC charging, and if you have a big battery or good range, and also if you don't drive that far, then it would be perfect for you. But one thing I noticed is that many times Tibber will choose to smart charge despite that I have set no departure time. So one trick I tend to use is that once the smart charging starts, I can stop charging manually. And then when I enable smart charging again, the smart charging session for that remaining whatever hour it's at will just be deleted. So that's something I asked Tibber about. What the heck is it? Why does it show up? Because I never set the departure time, but they couldn't give me any good answer. So if that smart charging happens 6 in the morning, right? Then the night before I just stop smart charging, but then I might not get any grid reward that will happen during the night. So that is a bit cumbersome. Yeah, the cars that were parked here in the airport shuttle service, many of them actually smart charge rather than just sitting and camping on grid reward, because in that case they were camped here for maybe several days and I had plenty of time. It would usually take somewhere between 2 and 4 days for them to fill up the whole battery only on grid rewards. Okay, if you look here, now I'm going to go for July now. If you look on analytics here in Tibber, you see that my average price for the whole house was 4.5 øre per kilowatt hour. That is less than 1 euro cent per kilowatt hour for the whole house. And you see that compared to the other houses, right? I have 1/10 of the price almost as the other ones. And that is mainly because of grid reward. Because see here, I have negative price on car charging, and that pulls down everything else, the behavior, the heating. And then if we swipe over here, you see that car charging actually was the most kilowatt hour. Behavior is maybe cooking or running something electric in the washing machine or whatever, right? Watching the TV. Heating, that is somehow, yeah, it knows about the heat pump, the Nyland heat pump. But heating here is also hot water, and then always on is stuff that is always on, you know. So this is how you can achieve really low prices on Tibber. And then let me see, it was slightly different on the other months, yeah, because then I didn't go full scale on the grid reward yet, but it's usually in July here, you know. That's a crazy thing. I'm not sure if you can achieve the same. It depends how fast how often you drive, how thirsty your car is. e-tron owners, they should be the best possible candidate. e-tron, man, I need a fat e-tron to burn off electricity. And it has 11, even 22 kilowatt onboard charger. If you have the opportunity, you should enable grid reward and at least try it out. Many people don't know what the heck this is, and when I talk to many of the guys who park the cars here, some of them heard about it, some of them even use it, but some of them were like, huh, what is that? Right? I had a journalist visiting me from Romerike Blad recently. They drive fossil cars, yeah, the journalist and the photographer, but she didn't understand what the heck this was all about. And they were like, how can you get paid for spending electricity? but yeah, it is almost too good to be true. So, but you just have to try it, and I highly recommend it, man. Once you try it, you will get hooked, and you will want to maybe buy that Metron adapter and burn off electricity when you're not home. At least I was hooked for a while. I kind of calmed down a little bit now, but I still want to try to find a way. And my dream is to have something connected to the Easy, like Valdemar. If I can get that battery that he had, you know, that Mach E 99 kilowatt hour battery, hook it up in the garage, hook it up to the Easy, and then just farm grid reward on it. But then main problem is that I have to get rid of that energy somehow, by feeding the house or spending it. Yeah, that's the main problem for me now, is that I cannot spend it fast enough. But on the other hand, I have a different driving path than you guys maybe, because you just go to work and then. So yeah, anyway, I try to give you guys as much information as possible about grid reward, but it is good shit. So that's gonna be it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.